Hi. Let's talk about the two downsides of Micro Four Thirds, or at least the downsides everyone tells you about. Low light capabilities and megapixels. You can see it's not bright out. It's overcast. This is the brightest it's going to get today. And I'm going to be shooting many of these shots today. Standard 20 megapixels. And then the other side of it, I'm going to do some handheld high res, which is a party trick of this computational photography. It uses pixel shift technology, meaning the stabilization of the sensor moves around subtly, takes a bunch of pictures, overlaps them to increase the pixel density. Here's our first shot. We'll see. I'll do a normal shot, and then I'll do a handheld high res, and you tell me if you can see the difference on your computer screen. So I'm at f8. Speeds are going to about 1/80th to 1/50th of a second. ISO is still at 200. More low light. But there's a frustrating thing when you're trying to shoot in handheld high res or even tripod high res. Handheld high res is a 50 megapixel image. Movement doesn't show up properly. So when I took the non-handheld high res shot, it was a couple of moments, good to go. I just had to stand there for about 2 minutes to get the handheld high res because every time I would go to take a shot of that corner of the bridge, someone would walk into the frame as it was compiling the images. So you get that blurry person kind of moving across. Think of it like a long exposure almost. And then there's a wait time afterwards as it compiles the images to give you the shot you took. I have very rarely used high res. If I was going to print something, if it was a static image, sure. But today is probably going to be the most I've ever used it. And if you can't get the sarcasm from the start of this video, it's kind of to prove a point. Most of us don't need 50 megapixels. Most of us are perfectly fine at 20. I would dare say 16. But you're going to be the judge of that. You look at these photos and you decide what you think and what you need. Let's get some roses. They don't move very much. And there shouldn't be much chance of someone walking into the frame. All right, I admit it. I did bump it to f2.8 on some of those rose shots, but it had nothing to do with light. I just wanted to blur the background a little bit. But in the sense of us trying to show you that your ISO and your low light capabilities does kind of take it away a little bit. But they were high res and they were normal. I'm sorry. I'll try not to break the rules I've set for myself moving forward here. I probably will. Anyway, that out of the way. Maybe we'll head towards the Japanese garden here. But what I'm trying to show is that I've taken this camera out in the dead of night, literally. And with the advent of things like Topaz AI and even in Lightroom, their denoise capabilities are unbelievable. ISO is, in a lot of cases, irrelevant. And what we think high ISO is and what high ISO actually is now is probably two separate things. But again, that comes down to opinions. And you guys can show your own as you see these images. If you disagree or agree with me. I hesitated on getting this because of the 20 megapixels. I was watching thousands of videos and opinions and everything else like that. And is it a negative? Maybe. Is the low light performance a negative? Maybe. Depends on the shooting you do. The positives, the stabilization, the weather sealing, the small size of the lenses, the low cost of the lenses, of high quality pro glass. I think all of them outweigh that potential negative. Let's not even talk about the computational photography, the built-in ND filter. I could wax lyrical about that for quite some time. All right, I'll save you listening to me huff and puff as we make our way here. Take a look at some more images I took, and you be the judge. All right, so there were some definitely live ND shots in there. I'm a sucker when there's flowing water, I'm sorry. So, get some high res, you get some live ND, and you got the regular 20 megapixel. And I just almost said faffing about watch too much Gavin Hardcastle and Thomas Heaton without having to mess around with putting a filter on the lens. I press a button that I've set in the camera, or in my case, even just switching it to shutter priority automatically puts it into live ND, because it's the only time I'd be using it lately. And there you go. But let's continue with our journey and see what other computational aspects we can get into here. Maybe dissuade you from worrying about your megapixels. Unrelated, but I really need to move this peak design clip back to the left side. I took it off because in Iceland it somehow got sand in it and wouldn't function. So I had to take it off and take it apart to the best of my ability, clean it out and get it working. And I put it back on the right side for no particular reason, I just messed up. And being left-handed, it's a struggle for some reason. Who knew? Try not to get run over by a golf cart. As usual, I peter out long before this does. Done about 5 miles today. It's about 83, 84. About to have the breakfast of champions. Beautiful morning, and we were here at Norfolk Botanical Garden. So a lot of you have guessed this in the past and recognized some of the sites here. We have a family pass. Love this place. Not sponsored. Just highly recommend you check it out. They're about to double in size. They're opening the Garden of Tomorrow sometime this fall, I believe. As I catch my breath, a couple of last thoughts here. I have used cameras ranging from megapixels from 8 to 32. Is there a difference between an 8 megapixel camera and a 32 camera? Yes. But if you're posting photos online, and like say you're mostly doing Instagram or Facebook or your Twitter feeds or YouTube, there isn't much difference between a 10 and a 20 the user is going to see, like the end person, okay? There just isn't. If you're going to be printing, then yeah, there is going to be differences, especially as you get into larger prints. I don't sell prints at this time. Even if I did sell prints, I don't know if I'd be selling something large enough that it would matter between a 20 and a 40 megapixel, period. And if that's what's holding you back and you don't even print, what are you doing? If you intend on doing large prints, if you intend on doing posters and things like that, then yeah, you should factor that into what you're doing. If you're not, it's really easy to watch these YouTubers and video reviewers and podcasts and everything else, and they talk about, well, for me, 60 megapixels is perfect. They're a professional portrait photographer, and they're doing large prints, or they're selling to companies that are going to be using these for ads, that is probably different than your use case. And don't sacrifice and get a camera that is higher megapixel with less features because of that. Like I did. When I first got into this, I got the R8. And I got the R8 because of all the things everyone says. It's full frame, it's higher megapixel, had no stabilization, had no weather sealing. Those directly impacted me. Couldn't take it to Iceland. Couldn't take it half the days around here at Soaking, Virginia. It overheated on me 4 times, taking photos, no video. And this is not a talk down on the R8. It's a fantastic camera. I love that camera. Wasn't for what I use it for. The OM-3 and the OM-1 Mark II have been everything I need and everything I want. Form your own opinions, but I don't think megapixels should weigh as heavily in your decisions as they probably have been and did for me. Don't do my mistake. That's all I'll say. Thank you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Enjoy it. Bye.